I think we got it, Judge.
All right. I'll make sure that.
Got probably 30 minutes, it feels like.
Judge, could you record to Zoom, please?
Yeah, how?
Make me a co-host and I'll take care of it.
All right, but you gotta show me how.
I will.
You're not here. So how do you do that?
So see down here where there's a record button next to share screen
No.
on the bottom.
There's not.
There should be on the very bottom next to share screen.
There's participants and reactions.
Okay, I'm not sure, but I will look at it tomorrow.
All right, let's get started.
Sounds like a
So we're on
plan.
the record. We're on the record in Juan Lee Jordan. Sir, you are Juan Lee Jordan?
Yes.
All right. Counsel, your appearance for the record.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, appearing on behalf of Mr. Jordan for purposes of arraignment this morning.
All right, Mr. Jordan, this is purposes for arraignment. I'm going to read the felony complaint of the allegations have been made against you and then read you some rights in regard to that file. It is alleged that on December 24th, 2022 at 1200 Lenora Ave, City of Lansing, Ingham County, that yourself, Juan Lee Jordan, did in count one, interfere with electronic communications, did willfully and maliciously present, obstruct, or delay by any means the sending, conveyance, or delivery of an authorized communication by or through a telephone or telephone line, contrary to the laws of the state of Michigan, that 750.540 parents 5 parents A. That's a felony, 2 years and or $1,000. In count two, did commit the crime of domestic violence, did make an assault or an assault and battery upon Stacy Sada, an individual with whom he had a dating relationship, contrary to the law of the state of Michigan, that being 750.81 parents 2. Restitution may be ordered in this case if there was any damage to individual property or physical injury or death to another individual. This is a misdemeanor, 93 days and or $500. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under the laws of the state of Michigan if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Do you understand the nature of the allegations brought against you, sir?
Yes.
All right. This is these are the trial rights you have in this case. So I'll cover those with you. You have the right in this felony trial, in this felony count one, which is a 2-year. You have the right to have a felony to trial of any kind, bench or jury. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to have the prosecutor prove beyond reasonable doubt that you are guilty. You have the right to have witnesses against you appear at trial. You have the right to question those witnesses against you. You have the right to court order any witnesses that you may have for your defense to appear at trial. You have the right to remain silent during the trial. You have the right not to have that silence used against you, and you have the right to testify at trial if you choose to testify. You are, of course, represented by Mr. Feigelson from the Public Defender's Office for arraignment purposes only. Do you intend to seek future representation from the Public Defender's Office?
Yes.
All right. You also have a right to an arraignment within 21 days of this date. You have a right to a probable cause hearing. A probable cause hearing is a hearing in which the people would have to prove by probable cause evidence that a crime is committed and the identity of the person who committed the crime in this file. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes. May I ask a question?
Wait till the very end before you ask a question, okay? Your next date for preliminary examination purposes will be, let me grab the sheet. Will be in front of Judge Ward. Your probable cause conference, which is a pretrial before the prelim, will be on January 6th, 2023 at 9 a.m. And your preliminary examination will be and both of the prelim will be in person on January 13th, 2023 at 8:30. Sir, do you have a current address for the court file that is not the address, the Lenore address since you will have a no contact order with the Lenore address.
It was a 1096, and I have another address, but I have to look in my wallet. That's in Charlotte.
All right, let me find. So it can't be the 1200 Lenore address. You do have a Charlotte address you can go to?
Yes, I have to look at my other ID. Will I be able to? I'm sorry. I'll wait.
That's all right. There will be a no contact order with the 1200 Lenore address in this case. Okay, sir?
Will I be able to get my car? My car and keys are there, my clothes?
Not without some type of law enforcement there at the same time you are.
So do I ask the officers here to?
No, I'll make it a part of the order. I'll make it a part of the order upon release. Do you have a phone number that you can provide the court?
517-894. 517-894-9899.
All right. Are you on probation or parole?
No.
Are you employed?
Yes.
Where are you employed?
I work for Diamonddale Elementary.
All right. And what do you do there?
I'm a crossing guard. I'm a student supervisor. I help with the kids in the classroom. I help them in the hallways, and I help them with their work.
Okay. Thank you. I'll automatically enter a not guilty plea for purposes of this arraignment. Mr. Feigelson, would you like to be heard on bond?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Jordan does live here in the Lansing area, Your Honor. He's always appeared before court. He did go to Everett, but he did get his GED, Your Honor. He has a previous criminal history from 1994. It was an armed robbery. He did go to prison, but since he's been out, he's got no other history since this. But this case, I believe he's been out a number of years. Given all that, Your Honor, I'd ask for a PR bond today, Your Honor.
All right. I have if you are able to make bond in this regard, Mr. Jordan, I'm going to set the following conditions pursuant to bond. You may go to the residence in the Lenore residence one time with a peace officer to get your personal belongings. You're not, you're the only way you can get to that Lenore address is one time with a police officer. No use of alcohol or drugs. No assaultive behavior. No out-of-state travel. No contact with the victim except for the one time, no contact with Stacy Sada. And no contact other than the one time to get your personal belongings with 1200 Lenore Avenue. Your contact with no contact should be 1,500 feet of her home, place of business, or work, or school. So what I'm trying to say is 1,500 feet away from Stacy Sada is part of the court's order for release. You're not to have any possession of a firearm. You're to report to pretrial services within 48 hours if you're able to be released. As a condition, I'm going to look at your criminal history. This is a domestic assault, which is an assaultive crime. It's also a 2-year interfering with electronic communications. I have an unarmed robbery of 1993. I have an armed robbery out of 1996. I have a felony firearm out of 1996. I have a felonious assault out of 1996. I have 2 other felonies out of 96, both weapons offenses. I have on February 7th, 1996, you pled guilty to armed robbery in the 30th Circuit Court. You also pled guilty to felony weapons of firearm. I have August 2020, you had 2 felony charges dismissed. With an assault of crime and prior felony behavior, I'm going to set bond at $5,000, 10%. Anything else for the record in docket concerning Mr. Jordan, Mr. Feigelson?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Jordan, you're all set. And we'll go to the next arraignee.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, just don't ask anything about the facts of the case.
I'll talk to them. I just gotta get my numbers out of my phone. I don't know if I can pay bond now or next week or however, because I don't get paid.
I'll explain to you.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll do Ruby Davis. We have the 2 last are Mandy Kenny and Ruby. Let's do Miss Davis. I think that's a collections issue.
Yeah, it looks that way. Right there, Miss Davis. You had to. All the way up to the thing.
All right, ma'am. We're on the record in docket 1503807. That's people of the state of Michigan versus Ruby Davis. Ma'am, you are Ruby Davis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Feigelson, are you joining us today on this one, this collections case? I see this is a collections case.
If it's a collections case, then no, I did meet with her because I was under the impression that they were potentially seeking charges, but if it's a collection.
Oh, they are, maybe I got 2 files here. Hold on. I have a full case here, but I don't have a complaint as a part of that file. Is there a bench warrant on a prior complaint? Have you pled guilty to a probation violation? I have a domestic assault aggravated out of 2015 that you pled guilty to. Then I have a new charge. Oh, failed to appear on the domestic assault. So this must be that you failed to appear on this domestic assault. Is that your understanding, Mr. Feigelson?
Not necessarily, but hang on, let me see what. I was impressed with something else, but if it's a new charge or is it a probation violation?
I can't tell from here. I got a pretrial release, failed to appear on domestic violence.
Oh, boy.
I have a, and then I don't have,
Because I'm not
I
seeing
have-
anything on the website that says there's anything pending unless there's an active warrant for.
I have a criminal bench for contempt of court, pickup within 25 miles, 1,205 cash only for domestic assault, aggravated assault, which I would think is a fail to appear on the domestic assault out of 2015.
It's gotta
Judge.
be-
Go ahead,
Excuse-
ma'am.
Judge, I'm sorry. It's just a failed to appear for the collections warrant. There is no other warrant for her currently with our court.
All right.
So in other words, I
So
would.
she's got a fit.
It's
Go
just
ahead,
the,
Mr. Feigelson.
Makes it trip on the axle.
I think I was gonna say the same thing Wendy was gonna say, so I'll let Miss Golden speak.
thank you. I'm sorry. Yes, it's just the collections warrant. I don't see any new charges. Perhaps they were seeking them, but maybe they were issued today. I only see in JIS the warrant for the collections matter.
Yeah, that's all I have. I have a second, but I don't have a warrant or any new charges. I just have a fail to appear on the collections issue. I have the collections out. I have the collections issue. Ma'am, you're picked up on a warrant for fail to appear for your collections as to $1,255. That's your outstanding balance on that collections issue. Those go to the domestic assault out of 2015. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. Do you so to avoid any further bench warrants, I'm going to refer this to collections, but they're going to show cause you. All right. They're going to show cause you in regards to the money that you owe. And so you need to contact the collections, and you have to do it. You have to contact the collections people in order to set up some type of plan concerning the $1,250, or else you're going to end up with another bench warrant for you.
Could I make some arrangements to start paying on that, like on the first of the month, because I don't have a job anymore because I had a stroke and they wouldn't let me work my job anymore doing home care. So
I would,
the only
I think
money
that's
that I get.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I would sell that. So what I'm going to do is cancel the bench warrant today, but I'm going to have you got to report to collections by Wednesday at 4. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
It's Wednesday at 4. You're to report to collections.
Okay, thank you.
And then what you need to do is talk to them about setting up a payment plan so that you won't have more bench warrants for you. Because if you don't pay, they're just going to show cause you again, and you're going to end up in the same cycle. All right.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So make sure you contact the criminal division to start getting up some plan on this $1,255 debt. All right, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So it's referred to collections. And defendant's PR bonded, or the warrant's dismissed on this collections issue. All right. Anything else? So we're all set on Miss Davis. Miss Davis, you should be all set. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir, and
You're
Merry
welcome.
Christmas and Happy New Year.
You too. Just make sure you contact the collections department.
Okay, I will. All right, thank you.
And then we have a series of files on Miss Kenny. Let's go ahead and start with the newest file, which is the brand new UDA.
Okay.
All right, we're on the record in People versus Mandy Kenny, December 25th, 2022. And ma'am, you are Mandy Kenny?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Feigelson, your appearance for the record.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, appearing on behalf of Miss Kenny for arraignment today.
All right, thank you. Miss Kenny, this is the time set for arraignment. I'm gonna read you the allegations in this file. This is the new file. So it's the allegation in the complaint felony. The felony complaint is that on or about December 22nd, 2022, at the offense location of 217 South 8th Street, City of Lansing, Ingham County. Yourself, Mandy Kenny, did in count 1 commit the crime of unlawful driving away. Did willfully and without authority take possession and drive or take away, or did assist in, or was a party to such taking possession, driving, or taking away of a motor vehicle, to it an automobile belonging to another, Dwayne Williams, contrary to the law of the state of Michigan, that being 750.413. It's a felony, 5 years. Secretary of State to suspend driver's license for 1 year pursuant to MCL 257.319, parents 2, parents B. The court shall order law enforcement to collect the DNA identification profiling sample before sentencing or disposition if not taken at arrest. Ma'am, do you understand the nature of the allegations brought against you?
Yes, I do.
All right. In the felony allegations, you have the following rights. You have the right to trial by judge or jury. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to have prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty. You have the right to have witnesses against you appear at trial. You have the right to question the witnesses against you. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses that you may have for your defense. You have the right to remain silent during the trial. You have the right not to have the silent used against you. And you have the right to testify at trial if you choose to testify. Do you understand your felony trial rights in this case, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
You are today represented by attorney Stephen Feigelson from the Public Defender's Office. Do you plan to seek further representation from the Public Defender's Office?
Yes, I do, please.
Okay. You also have the right to a preliminary examination within 21 days of the, excuse me, 21 days of this arraignment. A preliminary examination is a probable cause hearing in which the people of the state of Michigan would have to prove by probable cause evidence that a crime has been committed and the identity of the person who's committed that crime. You were set for your probable cause conference on January 6th, 2023 at 1 p.m.
Okay.
And your preliminary examination is set for January 13th, 2023 at 8:30. Ma'am, do you have a current address for the court's file?
So I have what, sir?
A current address for the court's file?
Yeah, 533 Clifford.
All right, 533 Clifford.
Clifford, Clifford.
Okay, and that's Lansing, Michigan.
Yep, 48912.
Do you have a phone number for the court file?
I do, 517-512-3663.
Are you on probation or parole?
Probation.
Are you employed?
Yes, I am.
Where are you employed?
I work at mental health, Justice and Mental Health Organization, and I work at Applebee's on West Saginaw.
Okay, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for purposes of this arraignment.
Mhm.
Mr. Feigelson, would you like to address bond?
Yes, Sean, what judge has she been assigned to? Is that Judge Simmons?
It is Judge Simmons. Sorry about that. Yep, it's Judge Simmons.
Yes, I would be, Your Honor. She has a residence here in Clifford. She lives with her friend. She has two jobs. She works at Applebee's and the Justice for Mental Health Organization, Your Honor. She always appeared before her court cases. She does have some open cases. In fact, she's on probation in front of Judge JMO. She did go to Lansing Eastern High School. She always appeared before any of her court cases. She will avail herself to the court for this case. I would ask for a PR bond this morning.
Thank you. If you're able to make bond on this case, the following bond conditions will be set. You're to use no alcohol or drugs. No out-of-state travel. You should have no contact with the victim in this case or the residents. And that is Dwayne Williams is the victim. So no contact 1,500 feet. Of home, school, or work. And no contact with the residents of Dwayne Williams, which is 27, no contact with 217 East 8th Street.
But that's not Dwayne, sir, that's not Dwayne's address.
Well, that's where
Now, I
you
don't
took,
even
that's
know
where the
that-
allegation is that you took the car, ma'am.
Okay, but I don't even know who this Dwayne is. And I don't even know who this the lady. Okay, whatever. All right, sir, thank you.
All right.
That's
No
not even
contact
Dwayne's
with
place. I don't know
217
who this
East
Dwayne
8th
is.
Street, City of Lansing.
Oh, all right.
No possession of a firearm. And you're to report to reach pretrial 7 with pretrial services within 48 hours of release.
Yeah.
I've looked at your criminal history. It's extensive, if I remember correctly. I have a attempt at UDA out of 98. I have a UDA out of 2001. I have a joyriding out of 2001. I have a UDA out of 2003. I have a Uttering Publishing out of 2007. I have another UNP out of 2010. I have a UDA out of 2014.
Okay.
I have felony tampering with electronic device out of 2016. I have a UDA out of 2021. With this extensive, this crime in itself is just a 5-year felony. But with the extensive criminal history for public safety purposes, I'm going to set bond at 5,010%.
Oh, thanks.
So that's all for the record on that file, which is docket. That's the new UDA file. Then we have some other files that we need to arraign you on. So we're on the record in docket 22-00787. That, I believe, is a pending domestic. Yep, domestic assault.
On who? I don't put my hands on nobody.
Yep, so this is the time for me to arraign you on the outstanding warrant for domestic assault. Mr. Feigelson, your appearance for the record.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson, appearing on behalf of Miss Kenny.
This is docket 22-00787. So, Miss Kenny, I'm going to go through this misdemeanor case and then I'll indicate some of your rights in the case.
Yeah.
All right. In the complaint, it alleges that on or about March 9th of 2022 at 715 North Pine, 715 North Pine, City of Lansing, Ingham County, that yourself, Mandy Ann Kenny, did in count 1 make an assault and battery upon Cynthia Henton, a resident or former resident of your household, contrary to the law of the state of Michigan of 750.81. There's restitution which could be ordered in this case if there's damage to an individual's property or physical injury to the person themselves. This is a misdemeanor, 93 days and $500. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under the law of the state of Michigan if the assault occurred in a place of confinement. Ms. Kenny, do you understand the nature of the allegations in the complaint and the misdemeanor complaint against you?
Yeah.
All right, you have the following rights in this misdemeanor complaint. And I'll go through those rights with you. You have the right to be tried by a jury. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty. You have the right to have the witness against you appear at trial. You have the right to question those witnesses against you. You, of course, are represented by Steve Feigelson for purposes of this arraignment only. Do you plan to seek further representation from the public defender's office?
Yes,
Thank you. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses the defendant has for the defense to appear at trial. You have the right to remain silent during the trial, not to have that silence used against you, and to testify at trial if you choose to testify. Do you understand your trial rights in this case?
yes, I do.
Right, I'm gonna have the home address transferred from the felony file and the phone number also transferred. You indicated you were on probation. And you indicated you're employed at Applebee's, is that correct? That's true, ma'am. You're employed at Applebee's?
Yes,
All right. You have a pretrial conference in this matter. The pretrial conference will be set in front of Judge Buchanan on January 10th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. The court will automatically enter a not guilty plea for purposes of this arraignment. Mr. Feigelson, would you like to be heard on bond?
Yes, Your Honor. She will avail herself for this for all the same reasons before I'd ask for a PR bond on this file, Your Honor.
All right. Since this is an older case and it appears that it's never been arraigned before, we'll set the following conditions on this case. If you're able to make bond, no assaultive or drugs without a prescription or marijuana, no assaultive behavior, no out-of-state travel, no contact with the victim in this case. The victim in this case is find the warrant here. Cynthia Henton. That is work, school, or place of business. 1,500 feet. No possession of a firearm. And that's all. Similarly, in this case, since this is a domestic assault, and there's extensive criminal history in this matter, I'll set bond at 3,010%.
Judge, is the court date January 10th at 9:30?
It is. It's January 10th at 9:30 in front of Judge Buchanan.
All right.
So that's all for the record in that file. Then we have a older UDA that needs to be arraigned on. And this looks to be a felony case. Arraignment was set for February 17th. There was a defendant failed to appear on that date, and so the defendant's never been arraigned on this file. So on the record in docket 22-00317, ma'am, you are Mandy Kenny?
Mhm.
All right. That's a yes, ma'am?
yes,
Mr. Feigelson, your appearance for the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson. appearing on behalf of Mandy Kenny for purposes of arraignment today.
Yeah, and this is the time set for arraignment today. 25/2022. Arraignment. All right, so I'll indicate, Ms. Kenny, the nature of the allegations that are made against you in this felony complaint and this felony charge on or about November 20th, 2021 at the offense location of 3200 South Washington, City of Lansing, Ingham County, State of Michigan. The defendant Mandy Ann Kenny did in count one willfully and without authority take possession of, drive or take away or did assist in, or was a party to such taking possession, driving or taking away of a motor vehicle, to it an automobile belonging to another, to it Taylor Jackson, contrary to the law of the state of Michigan. That's 750.413. It's a felony, 5 years and or 5 years suspended. Secretary of State to suspend the driver's license for 1 year, contrary to the law of the state of Michigan. Do you understand the nature of the allegations that have been brought against you, ma'am? Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right, you have the right to the following in this felony case. The following rights: you have the right to be tried by jury, by bench or jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty. You have the right to have witnesses against you appear at trial. You have the right to question those witnesses. You have the right to have court order any witnesses that they have for the defense to appear at trial. You have the right to remain silent during the trial. You have the right not to have that silence used against you. And you have the right to testify at trial if you choose to testify. You are represented by Stephen Feigelson, public defender, for purposes of this arraignment. Do you plan to seek further representation from the public defender's office?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, your probable cause conference is set in this file for January 6th, 2023 at 8:30 in front of Judge Buchanan. And your prelim is set for January 12th, 2023 at 9:30. I'm gonna have the address and phone number transferred from another file. You indicated you were on probation
Yes.
and that you are employed at Applebee's.
Yes.
I'm going to enter a not guilty plea for purposes of this arraignment. Mr. Feigelson, would you like to be heard on bond?
Yes, Your Honor, for all the same reasons before, I'd ask either for a PR bond or a bond that marries up with everything else so that we can work on getting we're out on these bonds and resolving these cases.
Thank you. If you're able to make bond in this matter, I'll set the following conditions. No use of alcohol or drugs without prescription, no assaultive behavior, no out-of-state travel, no contact in this case with the victim. The victim in this case is Tayon Jackson.
What's the name of the case?
The date of the case is November 20th, 2021. So that's 1,500 feet of Mr. Jackson school,
What are these people that you're
Work.
talking about?
business.
Dude, I don't even know who these people that you're talking about.
All right, I understand.
I know Cynthia Henson and I know the probation violation, but I don't know nothing about all these other people that you're talking about. I don't even know who they are.
Mandy, I would just be quiet right now. We can address
Yes,
this later.
This
I
is
understand
ridiculous.
that. So no contact, no firearm, report to pretrial services, report to pretrial services within 48 hours. I would indicate for the following same reasons of the extensive criminal history, especially in regards to Utah's, that seems to be quite extensive. I'm going to set bond at 4,010%.
Yep, thank you.
Not done, you got one more.
We're not done yet, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you've still got more files. I have an assault and battery file.
Assault and battery. Man, look, dude, this is all ridiculous.
So
I don't even
assault
put
and
my
battery
hands on people. I
file.
don't even know how to fight. This is ridiculous.
Don't forget this last file, you'll be down here in just a few minutes.
Yep, you'll be done in a few minutes. So calling to the record docket 21-03023. That's People of the State of Michigan versus Mandy Kenny. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Feigelson?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon or good morning, Assistant Public Defender Stephen Feigelson. Appearing on behalf of Miss Kenny again.
Now, ma'am, you are Mandy Ann Kenny?
Sure. I
All
think
right,
that's who
thank
I
you.
am.
This is the time set for an arraignment. I'm going to indicate the allegations have been brought against you in the misdemeanor complaint. And then I'm going to indicate some misdemeanor charges that have been brought. So on or about June 18th of 2021, at the offense location of 326 North Butler, City of Lansing, Ingham County, State of Michigan, the defendant Mandy Ann Kenny did in count 1 make an assault or an assault and battery upon the following person, Rachel Hardig, contrary to the laws of the State of Michigan. That's 750.81 parens 1. Restitution may be ordered as there's damage to an individual's property or physical injury or death to another individual pursuant to the laws of the State of Michigan. Some misdemeanor, 93 days and or $500. A consecutive sentence may be imposed if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Ma'am, do you understand the nature of the assault and battery that's been brought against you?
Sure.
All right. If you please accept it, you will not have a trial of any kind. So you have the following misdemeanor trial rights. You have the right to be tried by a jury. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. You have the right to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty. You have the right to have the witnesses against you appear at trial. You have the right to question those witnesses against you. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses the defendant has for defense to appear at trial. You have the right to remain silent during the trial. You have the right not to have that silence used against you. And you have the right to testify at trial if you choose to testify. Do you understand the nature of the trial rights? Do you understand the nature of your trial rights, ma'am?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right, thank you. You are represented today by Stephen Feigelson from the Public Defender's Office. Do you plan to seek further representation from the Public Defender's Office?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you.
So, same for the questions.
Your next hearing in this matter is set for, well, it'll be in the judges to be determined. I assume it will probably be Judge Buchanan, but you'll get a pretrial notice within 48 hours of your release because they have not set the pretrial for that date. I will have the address transferred.
Sure.
I will have the phone number transferred.
Sure.
You indicated you were on probation. You indicated you're employed at Applebee's. I'm going to enter a not guilty for purposes of this arraignment. Counsel, would you like to be heard on bond on this assault and battery?
Judge, the pretrial date again is?
Pretrial date, I don't have, it says you're directed to appear. A notice to appear will be mailed within 48 hours of arraignment date. So they don't have a pretrial date as of now.
Or a judge. Okay, perfect. I just asked for the same bond as before, Your Honor.
All right. So if you're able to make bond in this case, I'll set the following bond conditions. No use of alcohol or drugs. No assaultive behavior. No out-of-state travel. No contact with the victim in this case.
Oh, gosh.
The victim in this case being Rachel Hardig.
She's not even alive. She's passed away when she was in prison. So this is all
Rachel-
pointless.
Well, then it'll be pretty easy to abide by this no contact order. Rachel Hartig,
Harting. Hartig, Hartig.
and that's 1,500 feet
Say that
within
right.
residence.
Yeah. She ain't even alive. So where would I go see her at? She's passed away.
Judge is almost done.
Business and school.
Huh. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm gonna see her in her grave.
The bond for the same conditions are set in this regard, and this is an assault and battery, which is a lesser offense. It's a misdemeanor, but I'll set bond at 2,010%.
Are we done, sir?
Almost done. We got one more file left, ma'am.
Oh my fucking God.
I know the feeling. So we have a collections file, it appears. And what I'm going to do on this file is, oh, no, I think that's all for this.
We're
I
all
think
set.
that's all for this. Yeah.
that's
Is that all for this file?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Merry
All right.
Christmas.
We're all set.
Yep, thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, ma'am. Mr. Flagelston, I think that's it.
All right, Judge. Well, looks like today was the busy day.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Let's hope
tomorrow.
you're right. Let's hope today is a busy day and tomorrow's a slower day. All
Let's
right.
hope so. We'll see, Judge. I'll see you in the morning.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Thank you from the jail. I appreciate it. Wendy, you want to hold on here and walk me through to make sure my paperwork's right?
Of course, Judge.
All right. So this is Miss Mandy here had all the, I just want to make sure there was like a ton of no contact stuff.
Yep, there
I'll make sure I
was.
checked all the boxes on that. So, and some of this has multiple files. So, but for whatever reason, but so F, I want to make sure and hit check F
F,
and
G,
check G.
yep,
All right.
and then P,
I would only hit the cold stuff.
P,
Q, R,
Q, and R is going to be Rachel Hartig, who may or may not be alive, but